because it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah.
However, it's very, very possible.
Right.
But in order for you to get to the other side, you have to have the right mindset.
Paying off debts is genuinely one of the best things that you can do for yourself. However, if we're being honest, it's not the easiest of things to do. It's quite hard, but you will benefit from it. You'll find that some of the benefits include not having to worry about debts anymore or not having to stress out about them. One of the things that you'll find when you decide that you want to pay off debts is that there's so many strategies out there for you, but strategies are just half the battle. Your mindset is the other half.
Yeah, totally right. And your mindset will definitely impact the journey because it's going to be quite a long journey to become debt-free. And so today what we're going to share with you is 5 mindset shifts that you need to adopt. 5 money mindsets that will help you on this journey to being debt-free because it's not easy. It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah.
However, it's very, very possible.
Right.
But in order for you to get to the other side, you have to have the right mindset. And then we're going to share with you 2 practical ways in which you can go about actually shifting your mindset and making the change. What would you say is the first mindset to have on the journey to becoming debt-free?
I'd honestly say the first step is to accept responsibility and to not blame yourself for the debt. The thing is, the debt is there and it needs to be paid off. Things do happen in life. People find themselves in tough situations. Think of the pandemic, for example. There are a lot of people that were genuinely affected by the pandemic and probably found themselves in debt. The thing to do in that sort of situation is to accept responsibility that, okay, the debt is there and I genuinely have to deal with it. And I'd also say that if you're in a relationship, maybe you've got debt that's then built up in a relationship, try not to blame each other for the debt. Try not to say, well, that's your debt. You put us in this situation. We're in this situation because of you. But find a way to then say, okay, we're in this debt and we're in it together. So let's find a way to sort of start dealing with it and start paying it off. And don't be assigning blame. Focus on the debt and not tearing each other apart.
The second mindset shift that we think will be quite powerful for you as you're going on your journey to becoming debt-free is to become uncomfortable with debt in
Right.
general. Debt is one of those things that if it's happened over time, a little bit here, a little bit there, you end up being quite comfortable with it.
Yeah.
In fact, you might even not even see it as debt. You might be like, well, that's my credit card on the side and that's my overdraft and that's just a thing that I
Yeah.
pay for every month. And you don't associate that that's actually debt and that's my debt. And so the mindset shift that needs to happen is to actually say, you know what, this is debt. This credit card means debt. This overdraft means I'm in
Yeah.
debt. And you just need to be uncomfortable with it. Now, when I say uncomfortable, what we're really saying is to kind of keep it in your mind that you don't want to be in this position forever, right? You want to be in a situation where you're saying, I want to be debt free.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm not comfortable just easily and freely just spending my money on my credit card or my overdraft anyhow, because I'm not comfortable with getting into debt or going further into debt. And therefore, in my mind, I'm always going to be in a situation where I'm thinking about, okay, I want to pay this off at some point, and I'm going to be quite uncomfortable with having it really.
Yeah, I like that you say that because I feel like that's the point that we got to. We got to a point where we're like, oh no, we're really uncomfortable with this debt. Like even thinking about it would make you uncomfortable. But I feel like that was the driving force. It was a good driving force behind us actually paying off our debts, because when we're looking at them, we're like, we don't want to be in this situation forever. We don't want to live in this forever. So that pushed us even the more to pay off our debts because we were uncomfortable with. The third mindset shift to have is delayed gratification. So what does delayed gratification mean? For example, if you're an iPhone fan, like I am, and you find out that actually the new iPhone is coming out next week, you could decide, well, I don't have the money for it, but I'm still just going to buy it with money that I've not saved. I'll find the money somewhere. Either I'll borrow it or I will just use a credit card that I probably shouldn't be using. Or you decide to practice delayed gratification and you'll say, do you know what? I want that iPhone. However, because I don't have the money for it right now and I don't want to get into debt, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save the money first. If it takes me 3 months to do it, so be it. If it takes me 6 months to do it, so be it. But the key is to have delayed gratification and not put yourself in a situation where you're now building debt over an iPhone, or you're now asking for money that you don't have. And the thing with asking for money is you are going to have to pay it back later anyway. So practicing delayed gratification is a great mindset shift to have.
The fourth money mindset that we believe you should have on this journey is going to be falling in love with the numbers. Well, at least like them at the very
Right.
least, because you are in debt, and debt is, yes, we understand, it's a lot of shame, it's a lot of guilt, but at the same time, it is numbers, right? It's about money, and so you need to understand how much in debt are you really? What's the total figure, and what's the breakdown of each type of debt that you have? How much interest are you being charged
Right.
on those debts? How long will it take you to pay off those debts based on minimum payments? And how much are you going to then allocate towards those debts extra above those minimum payments to pay it off quicker, which is the plan basically. But you need to fall in love with the numbers. That way you can actually keep track of the journey. You can know, all right, it would take me 3 years to
Yeah.
be debt free. It would take me 2 years to be debt free, or whatever the number is. And this is how much I need to pay every single month in
Right.
order for me to reach my goal. Because if you don't fall in love with the numbers and you're just simply paying here and there as you wish, it's really just a dream. And as we all know, right, a dream without a plan is simply just a wish.
Yeah.
You're just wishing to be debt free one day. But in order for that wish to become a reality, you need a plan. And the plan is going to be in the numbers. So the mindset shift that you need to take is to fall in love, or at least like, the numbers. And as you're tracking the figures, it will boost your journey. It will boost your enthusiasm, your passion, your drive to keep going towards becoming debt free. But all of that, I think the numbers is really the key to make sure that your debt free journey is going to go smoothly.
Absolutely. And whilst you're talking about numbers, it is important to know your exact numbers. And it's also important to note that, when you're starting your debt repayment journey, looking at the numbers can be quite distressing, if we're being honest, because the times you may not realize how much you've racked up in debt. And when you look at them, you could actually just think, what's the point? Like, this is such a high number. Like, am I ever going to pay it off? It can be so demotivating to look at the numbers. However, let that serve you as a push for you, because look at the number and think, actually, yes, it's a high number. However, I can pay it off. I don't want to live like this anymore. I want to be in a better place, and I don't want to be looking and living in this debt. And that actually leads me on to the fifth mindset shift that you can have, which is to keep the end in mind. It can be so hard. Like, paying off your debts is actually hard. Not that it can be. It is actually hard. And it can be so difficult to look at the figures and think, wow, I've got debts of like 10K. It will take me a while to pay this off. Let's say it will take me 2-3 years to pay this off. To you in that moment, it may seem like, 2 to 3 years is quite a long time. However, once you get into the rhythm of doing things, you may realize that actually it's okay. Yes, it may take 2 to 3 years, but I'm in the rhythm. When you start to see those numbers dropping, the amount that you owe dropping each and every single month, it will actually motivate you, just like you were saying. So keep the end in mind. If the end goal is to not be in debt, think of how good it will be for you to be at that stage where you no longer have debt. And think of how good it will be for you to actually live on your money and not be thinking about debt anymore, not be thinking about debt collectors, to not be thinking about people calling you and asking you when you pay things off. Always keep the end goal in mind. And there's another saying, which is that yes, it is a hard mountain to climb, but the greatest view comes after the hardest climb. And you will
Right.
see that view after you've paid off the debt. After that hard climb of paying off the debt, you will see that beautiful view. And that beautiful view is you not being in debt anymore.
So those are the 5 mindsets that we think will be super, super powerful on your journey, and that we've put in place when we were going through our debt-free journey as well. And so now we're going to talk about the 2 ways in which you can actually go about changing your mindset, because this is not just going to be a one-time event. It's a continuous thing
Right.
on the journey of becoming debt-free. The first thing that I would say in terms of changing your mindset will be to feed your mind with the right things.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, your mindset is full of what you fed it so far. One thing that you can do to change your mindset, particularly to do with your debt-free journey, is to start reading money books
Right.
or following people like us who are talking about money and in a positive way. Because what that would do is you start to be exposed to a different way of thinking. You'll start to take in different people's perspectives around money and debt. And that way you can start to actually form your own mindset
Right.
shift. There's so many books that we can recommend. We'll put some links in the description below for you to check out. But at the end of the day, books are a great way in which you can really dive deep
Yeah.
into what they're saying about debt and just personal finances in general. And therefore, you can really start to make some shifts in the way that you think and feel and view money, which will then obviously impact you in the debt freedom
Yeah.
journey. And in fact, will actually power you to have an even more momentum to keep going, because you can start to think to yourself, well, I really buy into what this person is saying, but in order for me to achieve what they are talking about, I need to be debt free. And you can get that extra fuel in the tank to
Right.
keep you going on the journey to becoming debt free. So that's one way that you can actually change your mindset. What would you say is another way that you think would be great for them to put in place to change their mindset?
I'd say surround yourself with the people that inspire you, or surround yourself with the right people. It's very easy when you're paying off debts to surround yourself with people that are probably maybe spending and they're in a position where they can spend without acquiring any debt or affecting their debt repayment strategies. However, try to surround yourself with people that understand the position that you're in. It's good to also have people that keep you accountable and keep you in check, because when you're accountable to someone, they will constantly remind you like, okay, I see you spending, but should you be spending in that moment whilst you're trying to repay your debt? Or they'll genuinely just check in on you to see how the journey is going, and they'll encourage you when you need the encouragement. Because to be honest, in the debt repayment journey, you will need that encouragement. Yes, you can encourage yourself. It's also nice if you've got people that can encourage you. So it's good to really surround yourself with the right people.
We understand, however, that it's not easy. And therefore, if you feel like, you really need a helping hand, particularly in the early stages of becoming debt free, we'll put some resources in the description for you to really go to check out. They're free and unbiased and not affiliated with us at all, but they're just really good places that you can go to really get some support if you feel like you do need some support in terms of changing your mindset, having that person around you who will help you and support you on the journey to becoming debt free. And we hope that this video has been super helpful for you.
So don't forget to like this video if you found it super useful. Leave us a comment letting us know how your debt repayment journey is going and what sort of mindset shift you've had to do in your debt repayment journey. Also remember to subscribe to our channel and don't miss out on the money content that we'll be putting out.